Hi everyone! Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's actually evening where I am, which is Oxfordshire, England. Okay, I thought I'd do one of my off-the-cuff videos. Off-the-cuff means spontaneous. Usually I do them and the first thing that comes into my head I say, and then I connect it to something else. But I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to do it in a little bit of a different way, and I'm going to use a book. I'm going to use this super book, all about collocations. And I'll be using some examples from the book, so some of it will be off the cuff because I'll go off script. Not that I've got a script, but I mean expand on what's in the book, perhaps go in a different direction. I'm Steve from High Flyer English, and I'm here to help advanced learners and those who are trying to be advanced improve their English. So, English collocations. I've got my finger in the right place, which happens to be right at the beginning. What is a collocation? Okay. A collocation is a combination of two or more words. Now, remember, two or more words, because often people think that collocations are just two words. So it's two or more words which frequently occur together. An obvious example here, if someone says she's got yellow hair, it'd probably be understood, but it's not what we'd usually say in English, would we? We'd say she's got blonde hair. Okay, that's simple. Yellow doesn't collocate with hair in everyday English. So, not yellow hair, blonde hair. Hair being a noun, but collocations are not just a matter of how adjectives combine with nouns. They can refer to any kind of typical word combination. For example, verb noun, interest. An abstract noun. What could collocate with that? Well, you could, of course, show interest, arouse someone's interest. Seminar. You could attend a seminar. You could lead a seminar. Then we've got adverb and adjective. Example, fundamentally different. There's a good one for you. Adverb and verb, flatly contradict. Very common. Noun and noun. Let's take the word paint. You could have a brush of paint, but a good one with paint is a lick of paint. A lick. Like you lick something, like a lollipop, a nice lollipop. Well, if you give something a lick of paint, you're decorating a house. You're applying the paint to the wall. Experts, plural. What would collocate with that? A team of experts. Wisdom, the noun from wise. Words of wisdom. He gave me some words of wisdom. I'm trying to give you some words of wisdom. Oh my God, that sounds a bit pompous, doesn't it? Okay, let's go on. So there are many more different types of grammatical types of collocations. This book actually covers them. The book mentions phrasal verbs such as come up with, run up, adhere to, and compound nouns such as economy drive, stock market, and they're sometimes described as types of collocations. This book doesn't consider those separately. It only looks at them in combination with something else. So, come up with. You can come up with a suggestion. Run up. You can run up a hill, of course, but you can also run up a bill. Adhere to. Adhere to your principles. To adhere means to stick, so stick to your principles. Now, here, principles, not the principle ending in I-P-A-L. That principle is like the head of, principal of a school. So you wouldn't adhere to the head of a school, would you? Stick to the head of a school. That might seem rather strange to onlookers. So adhere to your principles. The next one. Can you think of a collocation for economy? Personal terms, not the world economy or your country's economy. In personal terms, you could go on an economy drive. Here we're using drive as a noun. So an economy drive means spending a short period, or perhaps even a longer period, where you're not spending as much money. You're trying to save some money. It's not always easy to separate collocations and compounds. And both, obviously, are useful for learners. In fact, when we talk about collocations, collocations are a lexical chunk, along with phrasal verbs and idioms. And so often, it's difficult to classify them, to decide which is which. There are so many phrasal verbs which are part of a collocation. So, pick up a language. You could pick up a pencil from the floor, but you could pick up a language. Or, using the same phrasal verb, pick up, part of an idiom. You can pick yourself up. To pick yourself up, you've been feeling down, and you pick yourself up. Make yourself feel better. Now, it can be difficult for learners to decide which words to collocate, which words to go together. Natural collocations are not always logical. For example, there's no obvious reason why we say making friends rather than getting friends, or heavy rain instead of strong rain. It's just that strong rain doesn't sound right. Heavy rain does sound correct. As learners, you also need to know when specific collocations are appropriate. This is usually referred to by linguists as register. Is it informal or formal or neutral, somewhere in between? So take, for example, to alight from a bus. To alight means to get off. But you wouldn't really say to someone, you need to alight from the bus at the next stop. You'd say, you need to get off the bus at the next stop. If you use alight, you might well get a strange look. So as I say, register is very important. Why is it important to learn collocations? Well, an appreciation of collocations will help you make fewer mistakes. You'll sound more natural when you speak and write. You'll be able to vary your speech. And more importantly, your writing. If you're taking an exam, writing is going to be very important. Instead of repeating everyday words like good or nice, you'll be able to exploit a wider range of language. You'd gain extra marks, for example, in an exam by writing, "We had a blissfully happy holiday in a picturesque little village surrounded by spectacular mountains," than for "We had a very happy holiday in a nice little village." You'll also be able to understand when a skillful writer departs from normal patterns of collocation. A journalist, poet, advertiser, or other inventive user of language often creates an effect by not choosing the expected collocation. For example, a travel article about the Italian capital might read, "There's no place like Rome." Of course, a variation on the popular expression, "There's no place like home." Okay, so with that, I'm going to draw this presentation to a close. I just used the collocation to draw to a close. Imagine curtains, or as Americans call them, drapes. You draw them. You draw the curtains, you can mean to open them, or draw the curtains in the evening, you draw them to close them. We also use draw in the collocation to draw to a close. The meeting is drawing to a close. That's it. I hope you got something out of that. To get something out of is a collocation. To get out of, to get something out of is a collocation. To get out of is to avoid. But to get something out of means that you learn something valuable, something important or interesting. Okay. See you again soon. Bye for now. And if you're watching this on YouTube, do give me a like and subscribe. It does help me. Okay. See ya. Cheers.